Oh boy, what did Joe Rogan do now? Well, I saw his name was trending and I was curious, what could he have possibly said that offended everybody? Well, apparently an offhanded remark about who he would choose between Joe Biden and Donald Trump has equivocated, is that the right word? Is the equivalent of him giving his wholehearted approval and endorsement to Donald Trump, even though that's not really what was said. Everybody's spinning this now like crazy, like crazy. If you look at Twitter, Birdie Bros are on self-deletion watch. If you just look at Joe Rogan said maybe Orange Man not that bad. No matter what happens, these people will generally have the same priorities. If there's a resource and all the servers and data towers go down, the last messages sent will be posts about if Joe Rogan was regrettable move for Bernie. Quote, given Bernie, mistakenly in my opinion, elevated Joe Rogan's endorsement of him, and given Rogan now saying he'd rather vote for Trump than Biden, it's not time for Bernie to also now disown. Is it not time for Bernie to disown himself from Joe Rogan too? Yes, get rid of it. Distance yourself. Oh no. And then the funny thing is, I'll show you the clip too, because the clip is a nothing burger. He's basically, it's the equivalent of, I have to choose between a giant douche and a turd sandwich. I'm going to go with the giant douche that I know. And to act like this isn't something that real voters actually go through at the voting booth is absurd. There's a reason that most presidents win a second term so easily. It's because people don't like change. And so unless the existing sitting president is doing such a terrible job, which some people would say Donald Trump is doing, you're not going to get somebody to vote them out. Let me be very clear so people don't freak out. This isn't my endorsement of anybody either. I don't want to be that person. Other YouTubers who do that, that's fine, but it's not my place to tell my viewers how they should vote or how they shouldn't vote. You vote for whoever you want. The only thing you're ever going to hear out of my mouth is that you strongly consider voting, because, you know, a lot of people fought for that right, and not everyone has that ability. Even if you go right in Harambe or whatever, I think it just feels good to go vote and do something important, even if it's voting for Harambe. Bernie Sanders endorser Joe Rogan now admits he's voting for Trump. Did he, though? It's the latest reminder that the Bernie movement is led by a bunch of alt-right goons and burn it all down. And burn it all down anarchists who are manipulating the most naive people on the left into hurting the left. No. Joe Rogan is making the same point that, again, many people are making, that there is just a lot of people that are not really that enthralled with Joe Biden. If you go back, you look at tweets that I made. I think I tweeted this maybe a year ago to Shoe on Head. She asked who I thought was going to win the nomination. I said it then, and I'll say it now. Of course it's going to be Biden. It was always going to be Biden. Bernie had no legitimate chance, and if that hurts your feelings, then what you need to do is understand that feelings aren't reality, and that if you want a more progressive candidate like Bernie Sanders, you need to look at how Bernie Sanders failed. You need to look at what the next candidate could do to appeal to Joe voter or Jane voter, because Bernie Sanders was never going to do that, and he never had a chance. That doesn't mean you shouldn't vote for him, because if that's who you want to vote for, then you should vote for them. You shouldn't just say, well, this is the person who's most likely to win, so I'm going to vote for him. I'm just defining reality. You go through and you say, why is Joe Rogan saying Joe Biden is incoherent, incompetent fool getting more press coverage than Biden's tape of Tara Reid? Oh, struggle snuggle tape. This is why the media sucks. Joe Rogan on the 2020 election. This is the real issue with the Democratic Party. They've essentially made us all morons with this Joe Biden thing. I'd rather vote for Trump than Biden. I don't think he can handle anything. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Breaking. Joe Rogan says I'd vote for Trump over Biden. Liberal heads explode in 3, 2, 1. Well, if they don't listen to the clip, then yeah. And that's the problem with people that are dead set on identifying as a single party member, all right? If you say, I'm a Democrat and I'm always going to be a Democrat, you're an idiot. If you say, I'm a Republican and I'm always going to be a Republican, you're also an idiot. You should look at the individual candidates, individual ideas, and individual policies and their track record and vote on them based on that. Not taking the easy way out and just define a party and blindly give them your allegiance. This is what the two-party system relies on. Over the last 100 years has lulled the current generation into just thinking it's a giant douche or a turd sandwich, and I don't want to put... It allows people to be lazy about who they vote for. It allows people to not invest time into understanding who they're voting for, and I don't think that's good. I'm not saying everybody who votes has to spend every single day researching deeply into the political candidate that they choose to vote for, but I think, if you have time for Candy Crush, you have time to read 30 minutes a week on where your political candidate lands on important issues that might be important to you. And this whole spin thing is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Joe Rogan said he would vote for Trump because he doesn't think that Biden can handle anything. Joe Rogan has apparently not been reading the news for the last 2 weeks. What? Joe Biden has a list of gaffes longer than I can even remember, or he could, for that matter. He is not a great candidate. If you like Joe Biden, cool, but you have to acknowledge their flaws. Just like people who like Trump have to acknowledge his flaws. He's bombastic. He speaks without thinking. These are real problems. And then you could get into policy issues that you don't like. But ultimately, you could do the same for Joe Biden. And if you aren't aware of your candidate's weaknesses, then you are an uninformed voter. And in my opinion, can cause more damage than good. And if you think that this, which we're going to look at the clip now, is an endorsement for Joe Biden, or I'm sorry, Donald Trump, then you're reaching. Joe Rogan is just saying what a lot of people are saying, is that the Democratic Party did not give us the best candidate. At least we don't think so. Here.
Yeah. I want a choice of an actual president that's viable. I don't have one. So then you're going to ask me, well, which of the non-viable people do you like best?
Well,
this guy, I don't know anything about the guy that's on here, so no, I'm not going to cast aspersions on him other than he sounds like a never Trumper to me. But I don't know.
Real issue with the Democratic Party. They've essentially made us all morons.
Yeah.
With this Joe Biden thing.
Well, it wasn't just Joe Biden. I mean, if you go back, and again, I haven't been covering politics deeply, probably ever, and only recently started paying more attention to it. The reality is, if you go back to the 2016 election, all the signs were there. The fact that the DNC was willing to elevate somebody who wasn't the best candidate in order to, I don't know. I mean, the easy argument here is money and investors and back alley dealings. I don't know. But the way that if you're a Bernie fan, this is the really frustrating thing. A lot of people in esports are huge Bernie stans. Good for them. All right. I'm not, but that doesn't matter. I don't take it personally if somebody's content I watch, likes a particular political candidate. But a lot of these people who are Bernie stans were so shocked when he got screwed over again by the DNC. I mean, didn't you see it happen in 2016? And didn't you see Bernie bend the knee and fall in line? This is the man that you said was going to change everything, but he's just another pawn in the DNC machine. This is a fact. If he really had the strength of his convictions, he would have ran as an independent. But that's less viable, too.
They really have. They made us all morons.
Who do we need? I mean,
I can't vote for that guy.
I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for him.
I can't vote for Trump.
I'd rather vote for Trump than him. I don't think he can handle anything.
Again, I would rather vote for Trump than him. Joe Rogan is saying, given a hypothetical choice between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I would choose Donald Trump. Now, what a lot of people are saying, oh, well, this is a strong endorsement. I don't think it is. In fact, I don't think this is any indication of how Joe Rogan will vote. If anything, it's probably a strong indication that he won't vote at all, which is what a lot of Bernie supporters did in 2016 and will likely do again in 2020, which will basically give the election to Donald Trump, because the Bernie supporters aren't going to fall in line like the DNC wants and support Biden. And they're not a huge amount of people, but they're not small either, maybe 5%, okay? Well, you saw how razor thin everything was in 2016. So You know, the DNC instead chose to run a candidate that nobody liked, not even Democrats, cheat him to the top by many people's opinions. And now Joe Rogan is correctly analyzing that. Look, I don't like this guy, and if I had to choose between the two, this is who I'd choose. But the reality is, guys like him probably just won't vote.
You're relying entirely on his cabinet. Like, if you want to talk about an individual leader that can communicate, he can't do that. And we don't even know what the fuck he's going to be like after a year in office. The pressure of being the president of the United States is...
That's true. I mean, Obama aged... This, again, I'm 35 or something. 35, 36? I can't even remember anymore. Obama was the first president I saw, basically, that I really remember for 8 years. And that dude aged like 30 years in 8 years.
Something that no one has ever prepared for.
Right.
The only one who seems to be fine with it is Trump, oddly enough.
He's not wrong. Although, granted, he's pretty leathery and old already when he went in. And I hear he's got those addies to help him. I don't know if that's true or not. By the way, I don't even care. If you told me that every president in history was using some sort of performance-enhancing drug to help them do a better job, I'm fine with it. Like, legitimately. I don't care. This is, again, one of those sticking points that people think is some kind of own. But when you talk to, like, oh, you mean he's taking a drug that, 10%, 20% of the nation is on, and he's using it to make sure he does a better job? Get wrecked, Orange Man. Like, I don't care.
I mean, he doesn't seem to be aging at all or in any sort of decline. Obama, like, almost immediately started looking older.
Yeah.
George W. almost immediately started looking older.
I think that this is not a change in Trump. Like, Trump, in a weird way, has just always been this performative, like a fake alpha.
Fake alpha. Again, so this guy's bias is going through, and I'm not going to defend Trump or not. Whatever. For whatever reason, I don't recognize who this is. I feel like I should know who this is. But whatever.
Right, and he still plays golf all the time. Like, he hasn't switched up much. I mean, I'm sure he switched it up a little bit because of the...
Anyway, that's the end of the clip. That's relevant. But if you go to Twitter, I mean, Joe Rogan is canceled. Joe Rogan is canceled. I'd vote for Joe Rogan over Joe Biden. I probably would too. Why is Joe Rogan saying Joe Biden is incoherent, incompetent fool, getting more press? Oh, I hit that one already. Joe Rogan was a great endorsement. I don't understand why we get trounced with black voters. Wait, Joe Rogan was a great endorsement. I don't get why we get trounced with black voters. What? Is the implication that Joe Rogan has a problem with black folks? I don't think I get that one. I don't get that. Let's do a thread on the Democratic Party hypocrisy. Since they are so totally bothered by Joe Rogan, maybe remind them of the things that they don't seem to be bothered by, that normal human beings find morally irreprehensible. The fact that people like Joe Rogan can go from Bernie to Trump show that it was never about policy. Some people just want a leader who will scream BS them will scream and BS them with policy that they can get past and divides the country. Strongly disagree. I think Joe Rogan is clearly saying, based on the performance, this is who I choose. I'm using my eyes. But, well, it was a good run, Joe Rogan. Rest in pepperonis. I'm sure this will completely destroy your career, and everyone won't totally move on to something to be outraged by tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.